Drake used to be thought of as hip-hop's ultimate ladies man, with tracks like Best I Ever Had, Find Your Love, and others establishing him as a smooth-talking artist with a sensitive side. This reputation had him looking like the ideal man for a lot of women who were looking for someone that would understand what they go through day in and day out.
I'm Moscato, but some shit Drake would like.
Why are you someone I like Drake?
Every black girl that went to college likes Drake.
He just really gets us.
Now, after Kendrick's recent attempts to destroy Drizzy's reputation once and for all, with accusations about how he really treats women, it seems like he's gonna have to move a little differently in the future. But K-Dot isn't the first person to put forth the idea that Drake's relationship with the opposite sex is a little more sinister than everyone initially thought. Because in reality, the Six God actually brought a lot of this on himself. My name is Louaista, and today we're discussing Drake and his problem with women. Thanks to Kendrick, the long-standing perception that he was a misogynist is really getting put under the microscope. And now, people are looking at practically every interaction he's ever had with a woman through a whole new lens. But to really pinpoint how Drake's relationship with women has mutated over the years, from the nice guy who collected Birkin bags for the woman he would end up with, to basically being labeled as a predator, we need to go back 10 years ago. Here, we see the first time that hip-hop's nice guy was called out for his perceived creepiness. Back then, the WNBA player and eventual 6-time All-Star, Skylar Diggins, was just making a name for herself, and it appeared that a young Drizzy was obsessed. After he was seen rocking her jersey in photos, he was asked about her ahead of his upcoming hosting job at that year's ESPYs. I've never met Skylar, but I'm sure it'll be extremely awkward if she does show up. She probably won't though. Her boyfriend will probably have her tied down to a chair that night. As if claiming that she would need to be physically restrained wasn't weird enough, the actual ceremony featured Drake performing some bizarre poetry about her on live television.
I posted the photo because I appreciate her as a player, okay? In fact, I'd like to read a poem that I wrote about how much I respect her game, because I genuinely do. Can I dig in? Maybe a post-game rub down, circling your body like a vulture, multiple convulsions, you'll be shocked like Tulsa. Can I dig in? I don't consider myself a childish man. Would love to take you out sometime, maybe see you smile and dance. I'd also love to go from being a Skylar fan to you are cordially invited to the wedding of Aubrey Graham and Skylar Graham. Can I dig in?
Cringeworthy as it was, it all led to Skylar eventually showing up on stage to play along with Drake's infatuation with her.
And that's really where the poem stopped for me. Oh my God. Oh, wow.
But for the audience, it brought out a whole new side to Drizzy that they probably rather they hadn't seen. After that, the issue went unnoticed for a while. Then, his one-sided feud with Rihanna brought everything to light. This conflict made him look like a sore loser at best and a true narcissist at worst. Now, I already covered this in detail in a recent video about Drake's dark history with female celebrities, but in this video, I wanted to focus on some of Drake's relationships that aren't often discussed. But to jog your memory, we talked about how Drake has been actively dismantling his nice guy image in recent years. From taking shots at Megan Thee Stallion on Circo Loco, to dissing and unfollowing Ice Spice after flying her out, these incidents are just one side of the story. With lines like,
"She could have a Grammy, I still treat her ass like a nominee. Just need to know what that like, so one time is fine with me."
And,
"Hey, I'm a gentleman, I'm generous, I blow $500,000 on you. I'm a feminist."
It makes any attempt by Drake to tap back into that ally persona seem inauthentic. Going from nice for what to her loss in a matter of years, this makes Drake's attempts to speak on issues like anti-abortion laws on a track fall completely short with his audience when you consider how he generally perceives women. It's stuff like this that makes people believe that he's one of those guys who only care about reproductive rights if it affects him getting laid. For Drake, it seems like women only deserve praise when he needs a hit or when they conform to what he really wants in his personal life. Because while those who see Drake as a misogynist or a creep have gotten more reasons to think so lately, he's actually been making questionable remarks about women he feels have wronged him since his 2018 album Scorpion. Just look at what happened to the R&B star, Georgia Smith. For a brief moment, Georgia Smith and Drake were an item. But in classic Drake fashion, he wasted little time in getting a number 11 tattooed on him, which was allegedly in honor of Georgia Smith's birthday. However, in the media, Georgia looked to downplay the whole thing.
Emotional interaction was between Drake and Georgia. I'd be like, he's definitely texted her at 4 a.m. saying, I need you, girl? Has he never sent you that text at 4 a.m.? Oh, man. I've got Drake all wrong.
I guess he's not as emotional as everyone thinks.
He's not. He's a tough guy, clearly.
But Drake was about to prove that he was even more in his feelings than people realized on the song Jaded. Suddenly, a man deep into his 30s was calling a 19-year-old low down and dirty before boasting that he makes more money than her man. Then of course, there was the following lyrics where he said, "We could have waited, I wasn't rushing differences in ages, you're old enough, but you're still a baby." And when people dug deeper into the lyrics, they didn't like what they saw.
You have potential, I could have shaped it. You wouldn't caved in. We could have waited.
Do y'all think he wants to control her?
It feels that way.
I don't know if you could tell
Just a little bit.
I don't know if you could tell a girl you had potential and I wanted to shape it.
No, you can. You could definitely tell a girl that.
It's not gonna go over well.
I'm convinced that this is about Georgia Smith.
Clearly, we got that.
Y'all don't judge him for getting a 20-year-old name or number tattooed on him. Come on, man, with this casual bullshit you niggas is doing.
I didn't know.
Listen to the song and tell me that the shit that he's saying about a 21-year-old girl is not flagrant, my nigga.
I didn't know that was the.
I think that record was definitely about Georgia Smith.
Okay.
And
I'm glad you related.
And I think it's creepy. But y'all think it's fine, so.
But now, in the wake of Kendrick's claims that he's a certified pedophile and that he likes them young, these lyrics, as well as some of his past actions, have only incriminated him further in those who support K-Dot's narrative. Drake is very obviously he told on himself in Jaded with the Georgia Smith shit. There's nothing to dispute there. While Georgia wasn't a minor when they met, it was a little close for comfort for some people. Because rather than being an isolated incident, it's part of a larger pattern of behavior where Drake fights with age-appropriate ladies publicly while courting strange bonds to girls that are, wink wink, not 18 yet. So much so that even before K-Dot called him a PDF file, some people weren't shook in the slightest that this sentiment was out there. But for a long time now, rumors have swirled about Drake and his proximity to young girls. Just look at comedian Shane Gillis basically doing K-Dot's job for him back in the day.
I want to be on the record. Drake's gonna be, he's on that R. Kelly tip.
You think so?
Drizzy Drake likes him young. What? He does. That's somewhat known already, but this is one of those things where I want to, you got to say something. Like, remember Louis, that whole thing?
Yeah.
And like, we knew about that.
Yeah.
And we were just like, I don't know. Drizzy Drake's into the young ones. He's going to get got in the next 5 years.
Crazily, he made those comments 5 years prior to the fallout we're all seeing now. But rather than having a crystal ball, Shane's prediction was the product of evidence that was out there in front of our eyes at the time. First up, there was Hailey Bieber, then known as Hailey Baldwin. Back in 2019, it was revealed that the then 29-year-old rapper was making a play for her heart. Drake has been pursuing Hailey, sources told US Weekly. He has been showering her with gifts. He's really trying hard. At the time, she was allegedly still hung up on her eventual husband, Justin Bieber, who Drake counts as a friend, but that's not the only reason why things seemed inherently weird. Because in reality, Drizzy has been in Hailey's world long before she was above the age of consent. Drake knew Hailey when she was 14, and he has always been a good friend to her. In 2016, Hailey was just 19 and Drake was 29. Now, if this was an isolated incident, Drake could maybe get some slack. But from friendships with girls like Millie Bobby Brown, who was only 13 when she first started developing a quote-unquote friendship with Drake, to linking up with Billie Eilish, or more notably, Bella Harris, as soon as she turned 18, there's been a lot of questionable conduct.
We just texted each other the other day and he was like, I miss you so much. I was like, I miss you more.
Drake is like the nicest dude I've ever spoken to. I mean, I've only like texted him, but so nice, like.
And don't even get me started on this clip where he brought a girl on stage and danced with her, then this happened.
How old are you?
Obviously I can't show the full clip, but later he KISSES's her, not once, not twice, but 4 times. Now these stories are pretty well known, but unfortunately they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Drake taking a particular interest in young women. Here we have the story of Lil Cece, who basically snitched on Drake without realizing it. During an episode of No Jumper, the Money in the Grave producer revealed how she first got in touch with Drake, and the answer probably isn't what you're expecting. In fact, it's far more alarming.
The Drake thing.
You met him. Well, when did you first meet him?
So I played basketball, right? So he really was a fan of supported one of my teammates at the time. And
this is when you're in high school?
Yeah, in high school. So he was a fan of women's basketball, high school basketball. I was her teammate, so he followed me because of her. And I was like, oh shit, bitch, you got Drake to follow me? Like, what the hell? Like, that's so crazy.
Oh my God.
He followed me, and I lost it. I'm like, I have to meet Drake. Like, I love Drake.
Because of clips like this, they'd seen enough long before they'd even heard anything K-Dot had to say. At this point, the clock is just ticking for when the documentary comes out. Like that wasn't dark enough, we then have his alleged ties to Aya Tanjali, an IG influencer with over 1 million followers, including Drake's father Dennis. Aya just turned 17 recently and was already welcomed into the world of hip-hop when she was in Ice Spice's video for Delhi. Now, during a recent live stream with Young Dabo, she made a comment that she looked like she wanted to instantly take back.
Be honest, what do you think about the Drake allegations?
Yes. Speak on it.
Would you let Drake like you?
That'll be something I can't confess. I mean, not confess, something I can't talk about because that'll be in the court.
The court. Drake.
What?
You're a victim?
No, of course not.
Wait, so what you said about why you said it'll be in the court?
Because that'll be something.
Oh, you can't speak about it right now?
That I can't speak about, yeah.
Between those two tales, some people already have Drake heading to cell block 1. But although Drake has never come out to confirm nor deny these stories, others have hoped that the girl who'd been seen DMing a grown man during their adolescence would wake up to the fact that there was something weird about that. I'm waiting for Millie Bobby Brown to grow up and realize how creepy her friendship with him actually was. Now, it should be noted that both defended him initially when the news of their friendship broke, claiming that there was nothing weird going on. But since then, the pair have been conspicuously quiet. In Billy's case, he let Yachty get a line about Billie Eilish's on another late night from For All the Dogs. While at the height of the beef with K-Dot, Drake brought Millie into the conversation when Kendrick didn't, spitting,
Only with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I never looked twice at no teenager.
Combined with the line,
if I was fucking girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested.
It can't help but to bring to mind Kendrick's own claim from his song Euphoria that the famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and is now spiraling. In the midst of their alleged friend taking so much heat over their ties to him, Millie hasn't responded to the scenario. Meanwhile, Callie's own Billie Eilish has been spotted actively getting down to Not Like Us after her recent album listening party in a way that would suggest any friendship she had with Drake is long gone.
Oh! They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Oh!
While their sudden refusal to comment could be seen as a sign that they simply woke up to what was going on, it would also be no surprise if they had simply found that any bond they had with Drizzy eventually turned toxic. As when it comes to the man who still claimed that he only loves his bed and his mom at the age of 31, it seems like when it comes to women, loyalty to the man who helped him become a star or respecting their wishes isn't even a priority for him. Cause when it comes to women in his life or even those he's encountered in his professional life, there are a few times where you could argue that Drake acted with the woman's best interests in mind, like his songs would suggest. Even back when he first learned that Sophie Brousseau was pregnant with his kid, text exchanges proved he accused her of being a gold digger and asked her to get an abortion. Around the same time, he'd further slander her character via his lawyer by suggesting she was doing it for a green card. Now, we all know that Kid's existence came to light by now, but that's not the point at the moment. What's more important is that he showed a complete disregard for the young woman and her wishes, or even protecting her character. This behavior lends support to those who have labeled him a misogynist for years. But it's really no surprise that he would do something like that to someone he only briefly met when he even willfully betrayed his mentor. On his hit song Not Like Us, Kendrick referenced a little known story in hip hop about Drake having an affair with Tunji's girlfriend while he was incarcerated.
Fuck no Wayne girl while he was in jail, that's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing.
Now, this is obviously a pretty shocking thing to wrap your head around, because Drake is literally here today because of Weezy's mentorship. And right back at the beginning of that relationship, he told him to never lose who he was.
You know, he's always just like, man, please be yourself. Please don't ever try and be me or anybody else. Don't ever go get tattoos. You don't have to dress any different, because I like from the day Wayne met me to now, I haven't changed anything about myself. He met me and he really liked the kid that he met. And he was like, don't stop smiling either. Don't try and get mean or aggressive. He's like, just be you, man. Just be you and rap about life and women and family.
After all that Wayne did for him, Drake didn't even think twice about hooking up with his Young Money label boss's girl while he was literally behind bars. Initially, Weezy tried to downplay it when the story first got out there.
There's that part in the book where you say that he came in and told you that he had smashed one of your girls.
Oh, when he wrapped up? Oh, I wasn't worried about that. I mean, I was just, that's just how life goes when you locked up. Yeah, I know.
But she's done, you moved on, life is good. Life is good. Will you rap about that? Do you think it'll end up on a song maybe you two might,
No.
No?
She still be texting me and stuff, They stop texting me too, for real. Because it still hurt.
But even though Weezy tried to stay dignified about the whole thing and defend Drake, his autobiography would reveal how much it truly hurt him. As a man, he wrote, I woke up still feeling fucked up about the fucked up day that I had. Hell is what it was. I'm used to arguing with my girl on a daily basis, but finding out that she fucked Drake was the absolute worst thing I could have found out. To say that the public were let down, to realize that Kendrick was really telling the truth here, was an understatement. The fact he could do that to a man who put him on is pathetic. It's like he tries not to be a good person. Friends with someone convicted of trafficking, yup, and he threw him a party too. Sampled R. Kelly after the documentary and his behavior was undeniable, yup. Worked with Chris Brown after the Rihanna incident. It's like he doesn't view women as people. Willing to forfeit his loyalty to Weezy when temptation struck. This is even more shocking when you think about who Drake decides to stick by. Recently described as some kind of predator haven, Drake's OVO crew has some questionable characters in it that really aren't helping his case when it comes to creating the perception that he even partially cares about women. Or as Kendrick put it,
and Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles.
The man he's referring to here is Baka Not Nice, an OVO artist and Drake's bodyguard. Back in 2014, he was arrested for allegedly forcing a 22-year-old woman into doing the thing that rhymes with Constitution. He then pleaded guilty to assaulting the woman and failing to comply with conditions for unrelated firearm charges. Although the charges against him were dropped because the woman refused to testify, it wasn't a great look for Drake, especially when he celebrated when he was released as if it were the end of some great injustice. Something's in the air today, he wrote in a conspicuously deleted Instagram post. A lot of great things happening at once, but this one means the most. Been waiting for 11 months. Baka finally home. He also rapped, I might declare it a holiday as soon as Baka get back on his song Know Yourself from 2016. To date, Baka remains a loyal member in Drake's camp, although he hasn't even released music since 2019. But when it comes to why Drizzy likes to keep him around, an interview he conducted last year seems to have clarified that. Because despite being 45, Baka seems to want to keep living the same playboy lifestyle as Drake.
Yeah, for sure. Like even right now, man, you gotta understand, I'm a little famous, so
You're being humble with that. Yeah, you're being humble. You're being humble with that.
Females, when you meet a female and you like each other, sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I just know that at this moment in my life, I cannot be in a relationship.
Yeah,
it's not fair to
the woman.
To the woman. It's not even fair to her. I'm traveling. I'm going all over the place. There's a lot of women around me. I don't want to hurt nobody deliberately. You know what I'm saying? I'm not built like that. I'm not that type of guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not looking for no relationship right now. And I just try to be honest with them and let them know that too.
Do you think it would ever be something in the future that you'd think about?
For sure. When I'm not doing music and stuff like that, I know it's possible. But it's hard to do it when you're
it's easier said than done. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The temptations are harder.
With Baka behaving just the same as Drake at his age, he's got an enabler on his side who still wants to run around chasing women when his peers like J. Cole and Kendrick are settling down. But as long as he has people in his circle like that, he can keep treating women the way he always has.
No.
Yes.
There's people with more reputation than me.
No way. Not a lot. Drake is close. But you and Drake are friends.
Man, Splash Bros. Snipe Squad. Shout out to Drizzy. He gave me the Snipe Squad thing, right? The 10 rules. 10 Snipe Commandments. Thou shalt not snipe a bro's ting. Thou shalt never pillow talk or discuss business with a ting. On any import from the United States, Canada, or Europe, or any other region, thou shalt practice a maximum 3-day export rule to avoid frustration.
What does that mean?
That means if you export anybody, if you fly anybody in, give them 3 days so you can avoid frustration.
Keep him for 3 days.
For 3 days maximum.
In the way that French is talking, it's clear that Drake isn't the one to treat the girls that he encounters with much respect. Once again, these actions have fed right into the narrative Kendrick laid out on tracks like Euphoria, that to Drake, women are disposable.
And the other part where he says, I don't even really think you like women, that's not just him saying, I don't think he's saying, yo, Drake, like, you gay.
Yeah.
He's saying, like, you one of those guys, you like vagina, but you don't really like women.
Right.
There's a difference. There's guys that like vagina, but they don't really have the respect for women that they should. And, people always say Drake is a misogynist and things of that nature. Right. I think Kendrick just approached it from a very grown perspective. Right. And I think that Drake is going to have to dig a little deeper.
While Kendrick claiming that Drake doesn't like women would be one thing if there was no evidence, you only need to look at the general disdain or lack of care he can treat them with to wonder if maybe he has a point. Because when a woman has challenged him or is ever seen as having wronged the Sixth God in any way, Drake won't think twice about publicly dissing them. This happened most recently to the jazz artist Esperanza Spalding. On the track Away From Home from For All the Dogs, Drake spit, Esperanza Spalding was getting all the praises. I'm trying to keep it humble. I'm trying to keep it gracious. Who gives a fuck if Michelle Obama puts you on her playlist? Then we never hear from you again like you was taken. Now, in case you're wondering, the only wrong she could have possibly committed against Drake is that she beat him to win Best New Artist at the 2011 Grammy Awards. And yes, that was 12 years prior to the track's release. And instead of respecting an innovative talent like Esperanza, Drake only seems to prop up the woman he feels he can gain from. Here, we have his so-called rightful wife, Sexy Red.
What's going on with you and Drake? Y'all got a record coming?
We be fucking. I'm just playing. That's my peoples.
Yo!
We got a song coming out.
Do y'all really?
I mean, supposed to be, but I did some little shit on his song. He sent me a beat and I had rap for him or whatever. He was fucking with it, so we gonna see if he dropped that bitch.
I love that. Is it gonna be named after you? I know Drake always does a record after women.
I don't know. He just fuck with me. I don't know what he gonna do. He gonna pop out with some crazy shit. I know that.
From gifting her a Cartier watch to literally using footage of her giving birth in the video to Rich Baby Daddy, Drake's reputation with women is now so bad that it's easier to believe that he's exploiting her or has a vested interest than that he does anything for someone of the opposite sex for any other reason.
Real quick. You said this paid off somebody's deal. Is this confirmed? Or this is just some inside shit that you saying?
Oh, you think he just likes being around Sexy Red that much?
So
Yeah,
is this speculation?
Y'all think he just is?
I'm with you 100% with there. 100%.
You gotta teach me. I don't know, nigga.
I can name some more people. Hey, and this is what I don't understand about you, Drake stands, right?
Coupled with his actions and Kendrick Lamar's recent expose, which has people second guessing everything they've ever seen or heard from Drake, there's likely women out there who feel that Future is less toxic than Drake, and with good cause. From dissing Pusha's fiance on Duppy Freestyle, to taking aim at Kendrick's baby mama and high school sweetheart during their battle, Drake always uses the ability to love a woman as an insult. In here, as Dot said on Meet the Grams, we have the genesis of Drake's behavior towards women, his father. It is difficult when your father is of poor character. Lots of work to be done, like father, like son. A man who walked out on Drake in his youth, Dennis Graham has continued to live a playboy life long after it could be seen as respectable. And with stories like this and footage doing rounds of him grinding on young women, he may not have been a terrible role for Drake in terms of how to treat women, but he may be one of the predators on the OVO payroll as well.
So we were really only there for like maybe 20 minutes. While we're there, he's just being super like handsy and weird. He said some like really strange comments, which that's kind of what started leading us to be like, okay, this guy's odd. And like clearly Drake's not coming. So like we feel like we saw what we needed to see and we're ready to go. One weird thing is there were photos of Drake everywhere. Like his entire wall is just like memorabilia of Drake, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, basically just like a weird, creepy old dude with his weird, creepy old butler. So we, after 20 minutes, are like, let's go. This is weird. There's like also not enough of us here for us to feel like super comfy. So we tried to call an Uber, but he lives like way up in the Hollywood Hills, and there was like a security guard at the beginning of the neighborhood, and they're like, oh, the security guard won't let us in. He's like, no joke, like 1.5 miles up this road. And we're like, what the fuck? So we literally had to walk in the pitch black to get to our Uber because the security guard wouldn't be like letting our Uber in. Next time we went to LA, which was like only the second time we were out, saw Dennis again. So I think this is just kind of like his thing. And we were talking to someone about it, and they're like, oh yeah, no, you never go to a party at Dennis's house. So I think it's just kind of like an LA thing that we were just not aware of.
From Kendrick claiming that Drake's home, the embassy, was about to get raided, to these claims about his father, it seems that this behavior might not just be widespread in OVO, but passed down generationally. But what's arguably an even bigger problem here is that even if Drake is one day vindicated and none of this is even true, there's still a lot of lasting damage here. And not just to Drake, but to every woman who's been involved or felt the wrath of Drake when he feels like he's been wronged. Whatever happens next in Drake's career, one thing that can't be denied is that Kendrick's diss tracks were the final nail in the coffin of Drizzy's ladies man image being tarnished. Instead, a new lens will be applied to pretty much everything he says.
I don't think Drake could move like how he used to move anymore. I think anytime he's with a woman who, even if she's freshly 21, it's going to be looked at as odd. And he's probably gonna have to keep his affairs with women either much more secretive or not be pictured with the chick who just graduated college anymore. Like, because they're now planting and putting this jacket on him. They usually do. If you're not a foul, you're
Left unable to make tracks like Teenage Fever anymore, without social media going into a frenzy, Drake is now under more scrutiny than ever before in his life. And perhaps the weirdest thing of all is that his own subreddit saw it coming years ago based on how he was moving. The boy is cold. Someone said Drake only collaborates with women he has a romantic interest in, and I think they may have a point. He's gonna get Me Too'd soon. It's definitely coming because this is a fucked up power balance. In the wake of everything that's happened, every grain of footage of Drake is being poured over and the connections are being made.
Alright, this could literally just be a friendly photo, okay? So, let's see. Millie posted this photo a week later crediting Drake for taking the photo. Drake, okay. 2 months later, during the Golden Globes after party, Millie posed for photos. Millie captioned a post with Drake. Blessed to have my security be my +1 at a Netflix party. Okay, I mean, so far they could just be friends, but being friends with a hero is really bad. Really fucking bad. Still. 13? Oh my gosh. In this? I thought she turned 15. According to reports, Drake, 31, and Millie, damn! They reversed the fucking age! Spent the entire night together at the party. Yo, they flipped their fucking numbers!
But what remains to be seen is what impact this has made on how the consumers beyond the hip-hop world take the news. Because while rap has been good to Drizzy, the pop fan base has been ever better to him. And the cornerstone of that audience is, you guessed it, women. With their support, Drake still has a chance to carry on as normal, even with everything that's just been discussed. But without it, this might be the beginning of a very ungrateful fall-off that'll leave him cursing K-Dot for the rest of his life. Because maybe without tracks like Euphoria, Meet the Grams, and Not Like Us, he could have gotten away with it for years, if not for decades to come.